Alright guys, so now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Shin Godzilla. My thoughts. So, I thought the movie, even though it had some slow moments, the Godzilla scenes more than made up for it in their spectacular moments. So, this is extremely raw. I just got home from the movie theater, and I am just now recording this. So, Shin Godzilla. So, this movie does not connect any tissue from the original Godzilla films, and I'm going to be warning, there is some pretty heavy spoilers, and I insist that you do not want this movie spoiled, because I tell you, this has some of the best twists and on the Godzilla character that you've ever seen, and I do not want to spoil it for you. So I am going to give you one final chance to click off. Clicked off? Good. So those who stayed, I'm going to be giving my thoughts. So the movie starts off on I think in the ocean, and they find a boat and everyone's gone. And of course, that it's assumed to be Godzilla, and everything is just going. Everything, the situation just keeps increasingly getting worse. So by the time they get to the, by the time they're trying to get off, something happens. A water vein bursts, and they evacuate it. And there's a lot of talk then. And then a horrible abomination comes out of the sea. It's not Godzilla yet, but it will be. So, it looked creepy as hell, the Godzilla's first form. And I am on board that the person whose name I cannot pronounce, who did Evangelion, can make a lot of creepy monsters. And this guy, this Godzilla form is creepy as hell. It is scary, and it just looks creepy, because I was personally startled the first time I saw it. I was not expecting it, and it was disgusting, and it looked like every single moment it was walking, it looked adorable, yet it looked like it was slowly dying at every minute. So eventually it falls asleep, and they think it's dead, and I was expecting someone to say, "Oh, he's gone. Congratulations, we did it." Oh no, he's back alive. So, the missed opportunity there. So he comes alive, and they start their own task force to get shit done. And there's a lot of talk and a lot of politics. Godzilla does more damage, goes back into the ocean. There's long periods where Godzilla isn't involved, but the periods where Godzilla does get involved makes it worth the price of admission. Because the boring parts, I've only seen it once, so I don't know if I'm going to be seeing it again. But the boring parts are succeeded after you view the movie, from just the amazingness of what happens with Godzilla. It doesn't seem so far, but there's a lot of talk, and eventually, they decide to put up a task force and start making up solutions. And then Godzilla comes back with his fourth form. I don't know what his first form. They've already decided what Godzilla is, and I don't think they named him yet, but so Godzilla comes out of the ocean, and he goes on a rampage, so the US gets involved. And they try dropping a few bombs on him. Now, and they send the line, "Thank the U.S." Everyone in my theater started screaming and shouting off who they're voting for, which got pretty annoying. But still, though, it was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome moment. And then when they dropped the bomb on Godzilla, it hurt him. He started bleeding, that's a nice little nod to Godzilla vs. Gigan. And then he gets the nuclear breath, which we saw in the trailer. Godzilla's nuclear breath was purple. I thought that was pretty cool. He's the Mace Windu of the Godzillas, to quote Zilla. So, I was expecting him just to shoot out the nuclear breath at them. No. When he shoots out the nuclear breath, it is freaking amazing. It just doesn't go nuclear. The entire freaking city catches on fire. That is freaking amazing. And then it just keeps getting more awesome from there. Godzilla shoots nuclear fire out of his dorsal fins. I never thought of that. Now, some people might think it was stupid, but I think that was awesome. And that is an amazing new power. And Goji Fan 93 said that people find the most modern Godzilla to be the most powerful just because they have the affinity, just because he's fresh in the mindset. But I think this Godzilla is the most powerful because he's got a wide array of attacks. So he was pretty that was pretty awesome. He destroyed everything. And it was pretty amazing. He killed the Prime Minister also. So they start coming up with the solution. And there is an ultimatum put in place. Either they find a way to stop Godzilla, or the U.S. is going to drop a nuclear bomb on Tokyo, which brings back some awful memories of Hiroshima. So they obviously don't want to go through with that. And so they try to make a blood coagulant, which will freeze Godzilla. So eventually they try getting all the things into place, and apparently Godzilla is going to mutate again, and he's going to grow wings. Now I thought that was a huge missed opportunity, but still. So they get the blood coagulant through, and once they get it through, they start putting them into tanks, and then they start trapping, and then they let the trap for Godzilla. Godzilla is frozen in place from when he once stood, and they can't really do nothing. So as soon as they try and stop him, as soon as they try, he wakes up. When they start attacking him, they send bombs through trains, and Godzilla is just waking up. He is pissed off, and when he falls over, I like that they make this Godzilla fall over a lot. I mean, Gilly gives a sense of size. So once they trip him, he gets up, he's, remarkably pissed off. They pour the blood coagulant into his mouth, and, he's slowed down by it. And eventually they do it again, and so once they do it the second time, he still shoots off nuclear breath. He's still shooting off everything. So I'm thinking, and once they do the final, and once they put it all in, he still gets up. And I was like, no, Japan's screwed. No, he freezes over. And so, as they're doing it, the main character, whose name I forgot, I'm sorry, talks with a female, whose name I also forgot, I'm sorry. I probably wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyways. So, they said that mankind will have to learn to coexist with Gojira, because eventually he is not going to, he's not going to stay that way forever, which baits into a sequel. But for now, they're good. And it just ends with the same music. There was a lot of great music used. The music in this is amazing. We all heard it from the trailer, and we know it's pretty good. The soundtrack is solid. In fact, it's worth a purchase, if you ask me. Now, I'm going to get on to the bad stuff. The bad stuff is that the film is just really, really boring at some points. There's so much talk, and since it's a language barrier for me, I saw the film subtitled. It is a little bit hard to follow, and sometimes you do get bored and wondering when Godzilla is going to show up again. But the Godzilla parts really make it worth seeing. So right now, this is my raw opinion. I don't know if it's going to remain that way, but for right now, I'd honestly give this film a 7.5 out of 10. Now, I don't know if that's going to rise or that's going to drop. And just before I go on, I'd like to say this film did pay a lot of respects to the original. It knew what it was going for, and the film pays off in the end. Even though it was a little boring. It is an interesting film, and I think it is worth watching for any fan of Godzilla. And this film probably created a whole new generation of Godzilla fans, in Japan at least, because it was very high grossing. So I hope you guys enjoyed my raw thoughts on Godzilla Resurgence. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, and subscribe, and peace out.